Hello, everybody, and welcome. I am your host, Joe Swenson, the CEO and founder of Olivia Bell, and I am here today to share with you our 90-day goal setting workshop. Now, I got to be honest with you, goal setting has always been a struggle bus with me. And that was because in business, my employers used goal setting more of, I'm going to say discipline than motivation. Because think about it. If you have been taught the SMART goal method, right? Specific, measurable, actionable, um, realistic, and timely, those markers are great if you're the business owner. They're not great if you're the employee. So I became uninterested in goal setting and totally just shut down. When I became my own business owner as an entrepreneur, I struggled with the goal setting. I knew what I wanted, but I didn't quite know how to get there. So I started really thinking about it. And what I did is I came up with this method. It's called ISL, immediate, short term, and long term. I'm going to walk you through the ISL method today, which is a quick and easy way of setting of steps you can take to set your goals. Now, I'm recording this on March the 20th, which is the spring equinox. It is a great time to start goal setting for the year. And if you think about it, Mother Nature starts her year on the spring equinox. That's when the flowers bloom. That's when the weather starts to change. It becomes warmer. Bears come out of hibernation. The baby chicks start to hatch, right? So if you try to set goals or your New Year's resolutions in the winter time, it can be pretty unmotivating. At least it is for me. As a business owner, though, I do set my goals for my business starting January the 1st, because that's when my fiscal year starts. So it might be different for you if you've got a different fiscal year, start of a fiscal year. My personal goals, however, I wait and start them on April the 1st. So what I'm doing this year is I'm sharing this with you through my goal setting workshop. But what I haven't done, I shared who I am with you. So if you're new to my channel or if we haven't met before, hi, my name is Joe. I'm the CEO and founder of Olivia Bell. You see, I've got a family of who has a lot of autoimmune diseases. And I began to realize probably about 20 years ago that my lifestyle was making me sick. Or let's just say it wasn't making me healthy, and that I was really going down a path I should not be going down. So I had a couple health scares, and it was the wake up call I needed to really get my shit together. And that's what I did. I founded Olivia Bell, which is an integrative lifestyle wellness company. And what we've done is I've taken everything that I've learned from mental health to stress management. I'm also an herbalist and a Reiki healer. So I've taken those modalities in and I've put it all together. And I'm also an integrative health coach. So I created Olivia Bell, which is a comprehensive lifestyle wellness company, which is a way to help blend all of those things together and then give it to you. So, who is Olivia Bell? Well, they are Olivia and Bella. They are my first rescue dogs. They turned my life completely upside down, but in the best way possible. And when I say they were the loves of my life, they really are. Um, Here's the thing. For those of you that are pet owners, especially the dogs, you know what unconditional love is, right? I got that times two. And I have got to say, when I adopted them from the rescue, I adopted Olivia first and then Bella second because Olivia needed a buddy. You know what? I really started to slow my life down. I had taken the health track and gotten better from a health perspective, but I really slowed down and I really started to spend time with them, and I enjoy the time I spent with them, and they brought me so much happiness. So what I'm trying to do now through my company, Olivia Bell, is bring inspiration and happiness to you and help you take control of your health and your life by teaching you small or massive lifestyle changes, strictly up to you, that you want to make. When I work with my clients one-on-one, we do goal setting. So I'm going to share with you today some of the goal setting that we do. And I have this thing that I call the lifestyle wellness wheel because it's contingent upon the 4 pillars of lifestyle wellness, which is mind, body, spirit, and environment. For the workshop today, I'm going to focus on pillar number 2, which is body. And if you want to learn more about my lifestyle wellness pillars, I have a freebie called the Lifestyle Wellness Wheel, and it's a chance for you to take a look at these 4 areas of your life to see how you are doing and where you rate on your scale of 1 to 10. And then you can then come back and then watch this video to help you set some goals so that you can move forward to make some better choices with your lifestyle. Oh, and by the way, in the description box below, there's going to be a link to the Lifestyle Wellness Wheel, but there's also a link to the workbook for this particular video. So while you're there, subscribe to the channel, give this video a like, but also click on the link so you can get a copy of the workbook for you. But if you want to use a journal during this, feel free, go right ahead. That works just as well. So back to this. For today's goal setting workshop, I am going to focus on pillar number 2, which is body, which covers nutrition, movement, and health. Okay. Now, here we go. This is the schedule for today. As I said earlier, goal setting has been a very burdensome process for me. And when I finally honed down my method into a successful process, this is what I came up with. This is something that I do each year, and each quarter I also do goal setting. So I'll do it on the winter solstice, the spring equinox, the summer solstice, and the autumn equinox, because that is once a quarter. Here's the thing. I do that. If we look at today being March the 20th, right? I'm doing a 90-day, which starts April the 1st. So I'm planning ahead of time. A lot of people wait till the last minute to set their goals, and that's not how I teach goal setting when I work with my clients. This is a very personalized process that should align with you as an individual. And once I started doing this, especially as a business owner, I've got to tell you, I felt like a burden had been lifted from my shoulders because I found something that actually worked for me. And it made it easier for me to be engaged in goal setting, to be energized, but also it made my decision making process so much easier because as I was making those decisions on what I'm going to do, the question kept coming to the front of my mind: does this align with your goals? It was like, ah, shit, you know what? That doesn't, so I'm not going to do it. So I got a 5-step process. Number 6 is follow-up, but I don't like to include that in the process of the goal setting. That's going to be a follow-up step. So I always begin all of my goal settings, whether it's for a year or for 90 days, with a guided visualization. Now, depending on the client that I'm working with, it could last 5 minutes, it could last 10 minutes, it could last a little bit longer. It really depends on the client and the type of goal that they're setting. So there's 2 different things that influence how long a guided visualization should last. What I am going to do today is I'm going to run through one with you. It's only going to last about 3 minutes, but I'm going to walk you through what I do with my clients to give you an idea of how you can implement this for yourself. The second step is writing down what you saw, what you visualized. And I'm talking about going into detail. Okay. I will be honest, when I do step number 2 for me, I voice note it because I can't seem to write fast enough. And I also find it easier if I talk through it. And then I have AI go behind me and type it up so that I can actually look at it and pull out the things that are important. Sometimes there's a lot of nonsense running through my head and it comes out. I do the voice notes. But steps 3, 4, and 5, 3, 4, and 5 also work together. And that's the ISL method, right? Immediate, short-term, and long-term. And these are steps that you're going to put into play. So let's move into the goal setting visualization exercise. If you take a look at the screen, I'm going to play this and I'll have a little bit of music when we get to it. Goal setting begins with clearing your mind and focusing on what it is that you want to achieve. So if you have a goal in mind, for me, for this example, remember we're using the second pillar. for the lifestyle wellness pillars, and that is body. I want to have a healthier body at the end of the 90 days, which is a pretty broad goal. We're going to hone it down into steps as we work through this. But the first thing we're going to do is this visualization. And in the visualization, I'm going to clear my mind and I'm going to picture myself on July the 1st, 2025. Again, these begin, hey, sweetheart. Oh, this is Ellie, by the way. Mwah. Love you. So thank you. We're going to work through this, and I'm going to talk through this with you. Okay. This is not a fly by the seat of your pants. Careful, sweetie. This is not a fly by the seat of your pants type of goal setting. Okay. These need to be thoughtful, and again, goals that are going to align with you, not something somebody told you should do or something you feel you should do. No, 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 no. I want these to be intentional. All right. So get comfortable, sit back in your chair, right? Hopefully you're not driving. If you're driving, don't do this part. Wait till you get home. And what I want you to do is get comfy. Sit back, maybe sit cross-legged, whatever it is. And I want you to either close your eyes or turn your gaze downward. I want to make sure you're in a safe area. So if you don't feel safe, don't close your eyes, okay? And then I want you to take a deep breath. And then I want you to do a slow exhale. Now I want you to do it again. And your exhale should be about a count of 8. But this time I want you to drop your shoulders. I want you to unclench your jaw and unclench your fists. Good. Now take another deep, deep breath and another 8 count exhale. And this time I want you to get rid of your negative thoughts, the to-do lists, any emotions you've got, or distractions or worries, whatever you've got. Good. Now take one more deep cleansing breath and a slow exhale, and then return to normal breathing. I want you to picture yourself on July the 1st, 2025. You were having dinner with a friend, a really close friend. When you meet your friend, she says to you, "Wow, you look fantastic. You look different. What have you been doing?" And you smile to yourself because you've achieved the goals that you set 90 days ago. And you sit down for dinner and you start to have this conversation with your friend. And you start to share all the details of everything that happened over the 90 days, the goal that you set, the process you went through, the struggles that you had. And I have that conversation. You're sharing with your friends all your successes, how happy you are, how achievable your goals were. You look around and you see yourself and you feel proud and accomplished. Now take a deep breath. And on the exhale, I want you to wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers, and slowly open your eyes. And welcome back. So, you set your goal. What is your goal? If you have the workbook, turn to the step 2 page, and you can see I've got a large box for you to start writing everything down. Now, if you're watching this on the replay and you want to actually participate in this right now, go ahead and hit pause on the video and start writing down all the things you saw in your visualization. And when I mean everything, I mean everything. I want details. I want to know, what did you look like? How did you feel? What emotions did you have? What struggles did you have? I want you to write down what you shared with your friend. And if there's a word or a phrase that kept coming up as you were speaking to your friend, I want you to write that down, because that is going to be your motivation moving forward. Okay. So again, if you're watching this, hit pause, take this time to write down everything that you saw in your visualization. Or, you know what? If you want to use voice notes, go do the voice notes. But I'm going to give you an example of what I did. And this is just a quick, short summary. It says that I am happier and a healthier version of myself. I am out to dinner with a friend, and choosing something from the menu was an easy choice. There were no temptations. I'm wearing my summer shorts. They actually fit, and I have on no Spanx tonight. I took the dogs for a walk earlier today, and I did not die. I'm so proud of myself, and I feel invigorated. I tell my friend how good I feel and how difficult it was at times, but I had focus and my goal was not impossible. My friend tells me that I radiate and she can see how happy I am. Now, that's just a quick sample of a longer conversation I would have, but you can see I've got some emotions in there. You can see that I have fact that it was a struggle, but I accomplished things that I didn't think I would have 90 days prior. So again, if you want to do this live while you're watching the video, go ahead and hit pause and work on step number 2. So we're going to move on to step number 3. So step number 3 is where we start implementing the ISL method. And that's immediate, short-term, and long-term. I want you to look at the steps you're going to take to get to your goal in small, bite-sized pieces. Okay. I had a conversation with a friend not too long ago, and we were talking about this method. And I explained the importance of pulling out your calendar for the next 90 days. So if you have not done so already, I want you to look at what is on your calendar for April, May, and June. What commitments do you have? When we talk about immediate steps, we're talking about no longer than 7 days. Now, again, I'm recording this on March the 20th. So technically I have 10 days until April the 1st. And when we look at the immediate steps you can take, my question to you is, what can you realistically do in those 7 days that you can start right now and take an immediate action toward accomplishing your goal? These are things you can do immediately. They don't require a lot of forethought, and they shouldn't require a lot of money. So for instance, I'm going to give you an example because sometimes it's easier if you see it. If I am going to do 3 things to accomplish my goal of feeling healthier at the end of 90 days, the first thing I'm going to do is clean out the fridge. I'm going to get rid of all the expired foods, the other stuff, the to-go containers that I forgot on the bottom shelf in the back, that kind of shit, right? Get rid of all of that. Then I'm going to measure my waist and my hip. As an integrative health coach, I tell my clients not to focus on weight. So if you set a goal to lose 20 pounds, I'm going to tell you right now, that's not a good goal. I'm just sorry, that's not, because it's an unattainable number. It's something that doesn't have any meaning. So if you want to lose weight, I'm going to ask you to reframe that, and I want you to lose inches. Big difference. And here's why. Waist to hip ratio is an indicator of metabolic syndrome, of health concerns. If you're a woman, your waist to hip ratio should be 0.80 or less. And if you're a man, 0.90 or less, sorry. Anything above that means you are at risk for diabetes, for stroke, for heart disease as well. So I always tell my clients, I know I went off on a tangent, I'm sorry, but I always tell my clients, we're not looking at weight. We're not looking at a number on a scale, okay? But the third thing is, when I was telling my friend my story, in my visualization, I told her I took the dogs for a walk. So I know I was doing some sort of walking and movement. So I'm going to make sure I go buy a pair of walking shoes now, because in my visualization, that is what I saw. And that's what I'm going to do. Some things for you that might be helpful to see some samples of immediate action, or is this, okay? Depending upon the goal that you set for yourself. Now, these 12 immediate action steps I have on here align with my lifestyle wellness pillars, but you can see how immediate these things are. The first one says to reword one negative thought. So if I'm working on my mindset, I can start doing that immediately. I don't have to think about it. It's not something that's going to come on down the line. I can start doing that right away. If I need more positivity in my life, number 7 says a belly laugh. I'm going to go watch a comedy special, right? Or I'm going to get together with some friends and we're going to have a good laugh. So what are some immediate action steps you can take right now? I only want you to come up with 2 or 3. And maybe it's just one, because your schedule is jam-packed between now and April the 1st. And if that's the case, pick one, but be realistic in the way that you do this. I don't want you to overburden yourself, because then you're not going to want to accomplish your goal steps. If we move on to step number 4, this is short-term steps. These are things that you can accomplish within 30 days. So because we're doing a 90-day goal setting workshop, we are looking at April, May, and June. Those are our 30-day increments. Yes, I know May is 31 days, but you're looking at April, May, and June. Okay. What are things that you can realistically do within those 30 days? You can look at it from 2 different lenses. You can have 3 independent goals, 1 per month. Or you can have what I call progressive goals, which means what you start in April sets you up for May, and what you do in May sets you up for June. Does that make sense? You can do independent, you can do month by month. It's really up to you. I'm going to give you an example. So this here is broken down by month. And in this example, I've got April's nutrition, which means for the month of April, I'm going to either do a meatless Monday or a fish-only Friday. And I'm going to try to do that once a week all through April. But in May, I'm going to focus on walking 10 minutes a day. And I'm going to get up to 5 days per week by the end of the month. In June, my only focus is going to be my health. And when I talk about lifestyle wellness pillars and I talk about health, I'm talking about your body measurements. And in this case, it's the waist to hip ratio. For you, it could be your A1C number, it could be your blood pressure, it could be your cholesterol, but these are health measurements, okay? When I say I want to get my waist to hip ratio as close as possible to 0.75, that's because, remember, 0.80 is healthy for a woman. That is individualized to me, and it does not compare to somebody else, because my waist and my hip measurements are going to be different than yours. So I can do one of 2 things with these 3 goals. I can stack them on top of each other. In other words, I'm going to work on nutrition in April. In May, I'm going to start movement, but I'm also going to continue the nutrition step, which means I'm still going to have meatless Mondays in May. And then in June, I'm still going to have the meatless Monday or the fish only Friday. And I'm still going to be walking 10 minutes a day, 5 days a week. And that's what I'm going to continue into June, because I'm really going to focus on my measurements and what impact can I do, or what changes can I make to impact that number. Another way of looking at it is this way. I have 3 steps to get to my goal. And I'm looking at nutrition, movement, and health. Now, for this example, I've got nutrition as meatless Mondays and or fish Fridays for all of April, May, and June, at least one time a week. If I'm going to be bold, I'm going to do it twice. I'm going to do meatless Mondays and fish Fridays. In movement, I'm going to walk 10 minutes a day, 3 times a week in April. I'm going to up it to 4 times a week in May and up to 5 times a week in June. So you see how I've carried these two through all 3 months. And then for health, my focus is still going to be my waist to hip ratio. And I'm going to get that as close as possible to 0.75. Now, when we do our follow-up at the end, I set the follow-up for 30-day increments, which means, hey, sweetheart, that I'm going to set on the calendar every 30 days. I'm going to check in on how I'm achieving my goals, which means I'm going to measure myself every 30 days to see how I love you too, to see how I'm doing. Okay. So let's look at the long-term goals. This is step number 5 and the final step in the ISL goal setting. Long-term steps are going to last you longer than 30 days, but shorter than 90. So these can be a variation of things. It can be a maintenance goal. It means you are going to maintain doing one thing for an extended period of time, or maybe you're waiting on something to happen. Let's say you've got a really busy April, but you know you can do this one task in May, but you're not sure when. So maybe the end of April, maybe the beginning of May, but you don't want to try to do it in April. And you can't really do it all of May. So I'm going to give you some examples because this helps. Clean out my pantry by May. Okay. So that's going to take me 40 days. That's a 40-day goal. So it's not a short-term goal. This falls into the long-term category because it's longer than 30 days. And then I have another goal in here that says, don't buy any more meat until I consume what I have. That's going to last me maybe the whole 90 days. For me, I don't have a lot of meat in my freezer, but there is some in there. So I'm just not going to buy anything. That could last me 45. It could last me 60 days. So again, your long-term step could be focusing on one thing for 60 days. Okay. You could be like, I'm going to walk 10 minutes a day for 60 days. And that's fine. You can do that. But does it fit into the schedule that you have? Again, every time you set a goal or a step, whether it's immediate, short-term, or long-term, I want you to be looking at your calendar. I want you to look at what commitments you have, what events you have. May is a busy time for a lot of people because there's graduations. So you know what? For that 30-day period, you might want to give yourself some grace and make that 30-day, those steps more applicable to what you have going on if you've got a lot of people graduating that year. In June, maybe you've got a family vacation scheduled for the end of June. So whatever step you're going to give yourself, you're going to do that at the beginning of the month. The thing to keep in mind is if you're going to break down any of the goals you have into these increments, they put them on your calendar when you can. And that's where follow-up comes in. Okay. Follow-up is something you're going to be doing every 30 days. You pick when you're doing it. Now, if you want to do it sooner than that, let's say you want to do it every 14 days, go ahead. I'm not stopping you. You need to find a follow-up method that works best for you. At the bare minimum, I want it to be every 30 days when you're setting 90-day goals. You might try to do it in the middle of the month. In other words, you may start it on April 15th, right? You're 2 weeks into the 90 days, and that might be a good chance for you to see what's working for you and what's not. And then check in again on May the 15th, and then again on June the 15th to make sure you're going to make it to the end of the month, an end of the 90-day period. But what I want you to do is be flexible with yourself. We get very unrealistic sometimes on what we think we can achieve. And we set these lofty goals and these lofty steps, and all of a sudden realize we're not doing it, and then we just give up. And I'm going to try very hard to convince you, don't give up, just revise it. Just make the change, okay? This isn't written in stone. It's not tattooed on your body. You can change it. Okay. It's a piece of paper and a pen, or it's typewritten words in your phone. Make the adjustments. But again, these are things that you want to do. No one's forcing you to do this, and you're the ones that are making the choices. So if we look at the 5-step method in whole, we're looking at steps 1 and 2, which are the visualization and the writing down of what we saw visually. Steps 3, 4, and 5 are the ISL methods, the immediate, the short term, and the long term. And those are the steps that you're going to implement to get you to your goal. As we wrap this up, I want to say to you, first of all, thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. I truly appreciate it. This is Ellie, by the way. She's our newest rescue. She just turned a year old last month, and I'm super excited to have her as part of the family. One thing I've learned by having a puppy is I've got to be flexible and I've got to be realistic, because you know what? Starting over is hard, and starting from the beginning is even harder. So please give yourself some grace. Take the time to set your goals, but to embrace the goals. These are goals you set for yourself. These are goals, these are things that you want to do. So by all means, do them. Make your goals achievable. It's something you should be able to be proud of for yourself. The last thing I'd like to share with you is our QR code. So if you want to scan this with your phone, this is going to take you to our link tree. And on our link tree, we'll have a list of events, upcoming live workshops that we have going on. If you're watching this before April the 22nd, 2025, then you can watch, if you'd like to, or I'm going to live stream the top 5 herbs for stress. And then I'm going to do a herbal formulation, do a live tea blending with you to show you what I do. If you want to learn more about lifestyle wellness, more about what we do, scan the QR code. It will give you the links to all of our social media, as well as to our website, which is olivia-bell.com. And if you want to reach out to me, leave something in the comment section or just send me an email. It's at joeswenson@olivia-bell.com. Thank you so much for being a part of this workshop. I truly appreciate you being here. I appreciate the time that you have put into being here with me today.